Bitter melon, also known as bitter gourd or Momordica charantia, is a popular vegetable in Asian cuisine that is valued for its unique flavor and numerous health benefits. This vegetable is relatively easy to grow and cultivate, making it an ideal choice for home gardeners and small-scale farmers. In this essay, we will explore the techniques and strategies for successful bitter melon cultivation and care. From selecting the right seeds and planting conditions to pest and disease management and harvesting. Seed selection and preparation. The first step in growing bitter melon is to select high-quality seeds that are adapted to your local growing conditions. Bitter melon seeds are available from a variety of sources, including online seed suppliers, local nurseries, and agricultural extension offices. When selecting seeds, look for varieties that are known to perform well in your region and that have good resistance to common pests and diseases. Once you have obtained your seeds, it is important to prepare them properly for planting. Bitter melon seeds are relatively large and flat, with a hard outer shell that can be difficult to penetrate. To improve germination rates, soak your seeds in warm water for 24 hours prior to planting. This will help to soften the outer shell and stimulate the embryo inside. Planting and growing conditions. Bitter melon is a warm season crop that thrives in hot and humid conditions. The ideal planting time will vary depending on your location, but in general, you should aim to plant your seeds in late spring or early summer when soil temperatures have warmed to at least 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Bitter melon can be grown in a variety of soil types, but it prefers well-draining soils that are rich in organic matter. If your soil is heavy or clay-based, amend it with compost or other organic matter prior to planting. Bitter melon is typically grown on trellises or other support structures, as the vines can grow up to 12 feet long. Plant your seeds 1 to 2 inches deep and 3 to 4 feet apart, and provide a sturdy trellis or other support structure for the vines to climb. Bitter melon requires full sun and regular watering, particularly during periods of drought or high heat. Pest and disease management. Like all crops, bitter melon is vulnerable to a range of pests and diseases that can damage or destroy your plants. Common pests include aphids, mites, whiteflies, and thrips, while common diseases include powdery mildew, downy mildew, and bacterial wilt. To prevent pest and disease problems, it is important to practice good garden hygiene and take proactive measures to control pests and diseases. This includes regularly inspecting your plants for signs of damage or infestation, removing infected or damaged plant material promptly, and using organic pest and disease control methods such as neem oil, insecticidal soap, or beneficial insects like ladybugs and lacewings. Harvesting and storage. Bitter melon is typically ready to harvest 60 to 70 days after planting, depending on the variety and growing conditions. The fruits should be harvested when they are still green and tender, before they turn yellow or orange and become bitter. Use a sharp knife or pruning shears to cut the fruits from the vine, being careful not to damage the vine or the surrounding plant material. Once harvested, bitter melon can be stored in a cool, dry place for up to a week. To extend the shelf life, wrap the fruits in paper towels or a clean cloth and store them in a plastic bag or container in the refrigerator. Bitter melon can be eaten raw or cooked in a variety of dishes, including stir-fries, soups, and curries. One important aspect of bitter melon cultivation is trellising or providing support structures for the vines to climb. This not only helps to maximize yield but also promotes good air circulation and reduces the risk of disease. You can use a variety of trellising methods, such as bamboo poles, wire mesh, or nylon netting, depending on your budget and preferences. Another important factor to consider is watering. Bitter melon requires regular watering, particularly during periods of drought or high heat. However, it is important not to overwater, as this can lead to root rot and other moisture-related problems. To avoid overwatering, use a moisture meter or check the soil with your finger to determine when it is time to water. In addition to pest and disease management, you can also use organic fertilizers to promote healthy growth and maximize yield. Compost, worm castings, and other organic fertilizers can provide essential nutrients and improve soil fertility. You can also use foliar sprays or liquid fertilizers to provide a quick boost of nutrients when your plants need it most. Harvesting and storage are important steps in the bitter melon cultivation process. As mentioned earlier, bitter melon should be harvested when it is still green and tender, before it turns yellow or orange and becomes bitter. You can store bitter melon in a cool, dry place for up to a week, or in the refrigerator for longer shelf life. To further enhance your bitter melon cultivation, you can also incorporate intercropping and crop rotation techniques. Intercropping involves planting different crops together in the same field, which can help to maximize space, reduce pest and disease pressure, and promote soil fertility. For example, you can plant bitter melon alongside other crops like beans, cucumbers, or tomatoes, which can provide additional support and shade for the vines. Crop rotation is another important strategy for maintaining soil health and preventing pest and disease buildup. This involves planting different crops in different areas of your garden each year, so that the same crops are not grown in the same location year after year. For example, you can rotate bitter melon with other crops like corn, lettuce, or peppers, which have different nutrient requirements and pest and disease susceptibilities. In addition to these techniques, you can also experiment with different bitter melon varieties to find the ones that perform best in your local growing conditions. There are many different types of bitter melon with varying flavors, textures, and disease resistance. Some popular varieties include Chinese long, Indian round, and Thai green. By trying different varieties and keeping track of their performance, you can find the ones that are most suited to your needs and preferences. You can also share your bitter melon cultivation knowledge and experience with others in your community. Whether through social media, gardening clubs, or local workshops, sharing your tips and techniques can help to promote sustainable and healthy food production, while also fostering a sense of community and connection. Growing and caring for peanuts can be an exciting and rewarding experience for any gardener. Peanuts are not only delicious, but they also provide numerous health benefits. They are an excellent source of protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. If you're interested in growing your own peanuts, this comprehensive guide will teach you everything you need to know about planting, caring for, and harvesting this beloved legume. Choosing the right variety. Before you start planting, it's important to choose the right variety of peanut for your growing conditions. There are 4 main types of peanuts: Runner, Virginia, Spanish, and Valencia. Each type has its own unique characteristics and requirements. Runner peanuts are the most popular variety and are known for their high yield and disease resistance. They are usually grown in the southeastern United States. Virginia peanuts are larger than other types and have a sweet flavor. They are typically grown in Virginia, North Carolina, and Texas. Spanish peanuts are smaller and have a reddish-brown skin. They are typically used for making peanut butter and roasted peanuts. Valencia peanuts have a bright red skin and are usually grown in the southwestern United States. They have a sweet and nutty flavor and are often used for making peanut butter. Preparing the soil. Peanuts require loose, well-drained soil that is rich in organic matter. Before planting, remove any weeds and till the soil to a depth of at least 8 inches. You may also want to amend the soil with compost or other organic matter to improve its fertility. Planting. Peanuts should be planted in late spring or early summer after the last frost. Plant the peanuts about 1 to 2 inches deep and 6 to 8 inches apart. You can plant them in rows or in hills, depending on your preference. Watering and fertilizing. Peanuts require consistent moisture throughout the growing season. Water them deeply once or twice a week, depending on the weather conditions. It's also important to fertilize the peanuts regularly with a balanced fertilizer. You can use a slow-release granular fertilizer or a liquid fertilizer, depending on your preference. Pest and disease control. Peanuts are susceptible to a variety of pests and diseases, including nematodes, leaf spots, and fungal diseases. To prevent these problems, it's important to practice good garden hygiene, including removing any plant debris and rotating your crops. You can also use organic or chemical pesticides to control pests and diseases, depending on your preference. Harvesting. Peanuts are ready for harvest when the leaves turn yellow and the vines begin to wilt. To harvest, carefully dig up the plants and shake off any excess soil. Allow the peanuts to dry in a warm, dry place for 1 to 2 weeks before storing them in a cool, dry place. Sunlight and temperature. Peanuts require full sun to thrive, so choose a location that gets at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight per day. They also prefer warm temperatures, with a minimum of 60 degrees Fahrenheit at night and a maximum of 90 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. If your climate is cooler, you can start your peanuts indoors and transplant them outdoors once the soil has warmed up. Mulching. To keep the soil moist and cool, you can add a layer of mulch around the base of the peanut plants. This will also help to suppress weeds and reduce the need for watering. Support. Peanut plants can benefit from support, especially if they are growing in loose soil. You can use stakes or trellises to help keep the plants upright and prevent the peanuts from touching the soil, which can lead to rot and disease. Thinning. If your peanut plants are growing too close together, you may need to thin them out to allow for better air circulation and nutrient uptake. Simply remove the weaker plants and leave the strongest ones to grow. Roasting. Once you've harvested your peanuts, you can enjoy them fresh or roast them for a delicious snack. To roast peanuts, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and spread the peanuts in a single layer on a baking sheet. Roast for 20 to 25 minutes, stirring occasionally, until they are golden brown and fragrant. Let them cool completely before eating or storing. Companion planting. Peanuts can benefit from companion planting with other crops that can help deter pests and improve soil health. Good companion plants for peanuts include legumes such as beans and peas, as well as herbs like basil and marigold. Harvesting and storing. When it's time to harvest your peanuts, carefully dig up the entire plant and shake off any excess soil.
Plant growth and development depend on various factors such as soil nutrients, water availability, sunlight, and temperature. Among these factors, soil nutrients play a crucial role in determining the growth and yield of crops. Nitrogen, N, is an essential nutrient for plant growth, and its deficiency can lead to stunted growth and reduced yield. To address this issue, farmers often supplement their soil with nitrogen through fertilizers or organic amendments. However, excessive use of synthetic fertilizers can cause environmental problems, including soil degradation and pollution. Therefore, it is important to adopt sustainable and environmentally friendly practices for nitrogen management. In this article, we will discuss the methods of growing and caring for nitrogen-fixing plants that can add nitrogen to the soil and reduce the reliance on synthetic fertilizers. Part 1. Understanding nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation is a biological process in which atmospheric nitrogen, N2, is converted into a usable form by plants and microorganisms. Nitrogen-fixing plants have a symbiotic relationship with certain bacteria that reside in their root nodules. These bacteria, known as rhizobia, have the ability to convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, which can be utilized by the plant for its growth and development. Leguminous plants such as beans, peas, and clovers are well-known nitrogen fixers, but there are also non-leguminous plants that have the same ability, such as alder and sweet potato. Part 2. Choosing nitrogen-fixing plants. When choosing nitrogen-fixing plants for your garden, it is important to consider the climate and soil conditions. Different nitrogen-fixing plants thrive in different environments, and it is essential to choose the right species for your area. For example, leguminous plants such as clovers and alfalfa are well suited for cool and moist environments, while non-leguminous plants such as sweet potato prefer warm and humid climates. It is also important to consider the soil pH, as some nitrogen-fixing plants, such as lupins, prefer acidic soils, while others, such as alfalfa, prefer neutral to alkaline soils. Part 3. Planting and caring for nitrogen-fixing plants. Planting nitrogen-fixing plants is relatively easy, but there are some important considerations to keep in mind. First, it is essential to inoculate the seeds with Rhizobia bacteria to ensure proper nitrogen fixation. Rhizobia inoculants can be purchased from garden centers or online. Second, nitrogen-fixing plants require adequate sunlight and water for their growth and development. Therefore, it is important to choose a location with good drainage and sufficient sunlight. Third, it is recommended to rotate nitrogen-fixing plants with other crops to maintain soil fertility and prevent soil-borne diseases. Finally, it is important to prune the plants regularly to promote bushier growth and remove any diseased or dead parts. Part 4. Using nitrogen-fixing plants in crop rotation. Nitrogen-fixing plants can be used in crop rotation to improve soil fertility and reduce the need for synthetic fertilizers. Crop rotation involves planting different crops in a sequential manner to minimize soil-borne diseases and pests, improve soil structure and fertility, and maximize yields. Nitrogen-fixing plants are typically planted in the first year of the rotation to add nitrogen to the soil. In the following years, non-nitrogen-fixing crops, such as cereals or vegetables, can be planted to utilize the nitrogen added by the nitrogen-fixing plants. This approach can help to reduce the reliance on synthetic fertilizers and improve the overall health of the soil. In addition to the benefits of nitrogen fixation for soil health, nitrogen-fixing plants also offer other advantages. For example, leguminous plants such as clovers and alfalfa have deep root systems that can help to break up compacted soils and improve soil structure. Nitrogen-fixing plants also provide habitat and food for beneficial insects such as bees and butterflies, which can improve overall biodiversity in the garden. One important consideration when using nitrogen-fixing plants in crop rotation is the timing of planting and harvesting. Nitrogen-fixing plants typically take several months to establish and begin fixing nitrogen, so it is important to plan accordingly. It is also important to choose crops that are compatible with the nitrogen-fixing plants in terms of timing and nutrient needs. For example, leguminous plants such as peas and beans are often followed by leafy greens or brassicas, which have high nutrient requirements and can benefit from the nitrogen added by the nitrogen-fixing plants. Another important consideration when using nitrogen-fixing plants in crop rotation is weed management. Nitrogen-fixing plants can be susceptible to weed competition, especially during the establishment phase. Therefore, it is important to use proper weed management techniques such as mulching, hand weeding, or intercropping with non-competitive crops. In terms of care and maintenance, nitrogen-fixing plants require relatively little fertilizer compared to non-nitrogen-fixing crops. However, they do require regular watering and pruning to maintain healthy growth. It is also important to monitor for any signs of pests or diseases and take appropriate action as needed. In addition to using nitrogen-fixing plants in crop rotation, there are other ways to incorporate these plants into your garden. For example, nitrogen-fixing plants can be used as cover crops to protect the soil during fallow periods or to improve soil fertility in between vegetable plantings. Cover crops are typically planted in the fall or early spring and then tilled into the soil before planting the next crop. This can help to build soil organic matter, improve soil structure, and reduce erosion. Another way to incorporate nitrogen-fixing plants into your garden is by intercropping with other crops. Intercropping involves planting two or more crops together in the same area to maximize space and resources. Nitrogen-fixing plants can be intercropped with other crops to provide a source of nitrogen while also reducing weed competition and improving soil health. For example, beans can be intercropped with corn to provide nitrogen while also shading the soil and reducing moisture loss. When using nitrogen-fixing plants in your garden, it is important to be aware of their potential drawbacks. For example, some nitrogen-fixing plants can be invasive and may spread beyond their intended area. It is important to choose non-invasive species and monitor their growth carefully. In addition, nitrogen-fixing plants can have allelopathic effects, meaning they release chemicals that can inhibit the growth of other plants. It is important to choose compatible crops and avoid planting nitrogen-fixing plants in the same area for consecutive years. It is important to recognize that nitrogen fixation is just one aspect of soil fertility management. Other factors such as soil pH, organic matter content, and nutrient availability also play a crucial role in determining crop yields and overall soil health.
Strawberries are a popular and delicious fruit that can be enjoyed in many different ways, from eating them fresh to using them in various recipes. While they can be grown in many different climates and regions, they do require specific growing conditions to thrive. In this article, we will explore the various techniques and methods used in planting and caring for strawberry plants, from selecting the right variety to harvesting the ripe fruit. Choosing the right variety. The first step in growing strawberries is to select the right variety. There are two main types of strawberries, June-bearing and ever-bearing. June-bearing strawberries produce a single crop each year, usually in late spring or early summer. While ever-bearing strawberries produce 2 to 3 crops per year, beginning in the late spring and continuing until the first frost. There are also different cultivars within each type, each with its own unique qualities. Some are better suited to specific climates, while others may be more resistant to pests and diseases. It is important to research and select the variety that is best suited to your specific growing conditions. Preparing the soil. Once you have selected the right variety of strawberry plant, the next step is to prepare the soil. Strawberries prefer a soil that is well draining and rich in organic matter. The soil should also be slightly acidic, with a pH between 5.5 and 6.5. To prepare the soil, begin by removing any weeds or debris from the planting area. Then, work in a generous amount of compost or well-rotted manure to improve the soil's fertility and structure. If necessary, adjust the soil's pH level with the addition of lime or sulfur. Planting the strawberry plants. Once the soil has been prepared, it is time to plant the strawberry plants. Begin by digging a hole that is deep enough to accommodate the roots of the plant, and wide enough to allow room for growth. Carefully remove the plant from its container or packaging, taking care not to damage the roots. Place the plant in the hole, ensuring that the crown is level with the soil surface. Backfill the hole with soil, gently firming it around the plant. It is important to space the plants properly, allowing enough room for each plant to grow and spread. Typically, plants should be spaced about 12 to 18 inches apart, with rows spaced 2 to 3 feet apart. Caring for the strawberry plants. Once the strawberry plants are in the ground, it is important to care for them properly to ensure their health and productivity. This includes watering. Strawberries require regular watering, particularly during dry spells. Be sure to water the plants deeply, soaking the soil to a depth of at least 6 inches. Avoid getting the leaves wet, as this can lead to disease. Fertilizing. Strawberry plants benefit from regular fertilization, particularly during the growing season. Use a balanced fertilizer that is rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, applying it according to the manufacturer's instructions. Weed control. Keeping the area around the strawberry plants free from weeds is important, as weeds can compete for nutrients and water. Hand-pulling weeds is the best option, as herbicides can damage the plants. Pest and disease control. There are several pests and diseases that can affect strawberry plants, including aphids, spider mites, and powdery mildew. Regular monitoring and prompt treatment with appropriate insecticides or fungicides can help prevent or control these problems. Harvesting strawberries. The final step in growing strawberries is harvesting the ripe fruit. Strawberries should be picked when they are fully ripe, as they do not continue to ripen once they have been picked. To avoid damaging the fruit, hold the stem between your fingers and twist gently to remove it from the plant. Be sure to handle the fruit gently, as they can bruise easily. Harvesting frequency will depend on the type of strawberry plant you have. June-bearing strawberries typically produce one large harvest each year, while ever-bearing strawberries produce smaller, continuous harvests throughout the growing season. Regardless of the type, it is important to pick the fruit regularly to encourage further growth, and to prevent overripe or spoiled fruit from attracting pests or diseases. Storing strawberries. Once harvested, strawberries should be stored properly to ensure their freshness and flavor. The best way to store strawberries is to refrigerate them, unwashed, in a container that is not airtight. This will help prevent moisture buildup, which can lead to mold and spoilage. If you have a surplus of strawberries, they can also be frozen for later use. To freeze strawberries, wash and hull them, then arrange them in a single layer on a baking sheet and place them in the freezer. Once frozen, transfer the berries to a freezer-safe container or bag and store them in the freezer until needed. One important aspect of caring for strawberry plants is pruning. Pruning helps to maintain the plant's shape, increase airflow, and promote better fruit production. It is recommended to prune strawberry plants at least twice a year, once after the last harvest, and once in the early spring before new growth begins. To prune a strawberry plant, remove any dead or damaged leaves and runners, which are long, thin stems that grow from the main plant and produce new plants. It is important to remove runners regularly to prevent overcrowding and encourage the plant to focus on fruit production. In addition to pruning, it is important to mulch around the strawberry plants. Mulching helps to retain moisture in the soil, control weeds, and regulate soil temperature. Organic materials such as straw, hay, or leaves are often used for mulching around strawberry plants. When it comes to pests and diseases, prevention is key. Planting disease-resistant varieties and maintaining good soil health can help to prevent many common strawberry diseases such as gray mold, verticillium wilt, and powdery mildew. Additionally, regular monitoring and prompt treatment can help prevent infestations by common strawberry pests such as aphids, spider mites, and slugs. Another important factor in caring for strawberry plants is ensuring proper pollination. While strawberries are technically self-pollinating, they benefit greatly from cross-pollination by bees and other pollinators. Sweet basil is an aromatic herb that is widely used in a variety of cuisines around the world. Known for its distinctive aroma and flavor, sweet basil is a popular choice for home gardeners who want to grow fresh herbs for their cooking. However, growing and caring for sweet basil requires a certain level of knowledge and attention. In this article, we will provide a comprehensive guide to growing and caring for sweet basil, from planting to harvest. Planting sweet basil. Sweet basil is an annual herb that is typically grown from seed. The best time to plant sweet basil is in the spring, once the soil has warmed up and there is no longer any risk of frost. To plant sweet basil, follow these steps. Choose a sunny spot. Sweet basil requires at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day, so choose a spot in your garden that receives plenty of sun. Prepare the soil. Sweet basil prefers well-drained soil that is rich in organic matter. Before planting, add compost or other organic matter to the soil to improve its fertility. Sow the seeds. Sow sweet basil seeds directly into the soil, about 1/4 inch deep. Space the seeds about 6 inches apart and cover them with soil. Water the seeds. Water the seeds gently but thoroughly, and keep the soil moist until the seeds germinate. This usually takes 7 to 14 days. Thin the seedlings. Once the seedlings have emerged, thin them out so that they are spaced about 12 inches apart. This will allow each plant to have enough space to grow. Caring for sweet basil. Once your sweet basil plants have emerged, they will require regular care to ensure that they grow healthy and strong. Here are some tips for caring for sweet basil. Water regularly. Sweet basil requires regular watering, especially during hot weather. Water the plants deeply once or twice a week, making sure that the soil is moist but not waterlogged. Fertilize. Sweet basil is a heavy feeder and requires regular fertilization to grow well. Use a balanced fertilizer every 4 to 6 weeks to provide your plants with the nutrients they need. Pinch back the leaves. Pinch back the leaves of your sweet basil plants regularly to encourage bushy growth and to prevent the plants from flowering too early. This will also help to promote the development of more flavorful leaves. Control pests. Sweet basil is susceptible to a variety of pests, including aphids, whiteflies, and spider mites. Monitor your plants regularly and take action if you notice any signs of infestation. Harvesting sweet basil. Sweet basil is ready to harvest when the leaves are large enough to be picked. Here are some tips for harvesting sweet basil. Pick the leaves. Use sharp scissors to pick the leaves from your sweet basil plants. Harvest the leaves regularly to encourage new growth. Harvest the flowers. If you allow your sweet basil plants to flower, you can harvest the flowers to use in cooking or to make tea. Dry the leaves. To preserve your sweet basil for later use, dry the leaves by hanging them in a warm, dry place until they are crispy. Soil requirements. Sweet basil grows best in well-draining soil with a pH level between 6.0 to 7.5. It can tolerate slightly acidic or alkaline soil, but avoid planting it in heavy clay or waterlogged soil. Before planting, amend the soil with compost or well-rotted manure to improve its fertility. Container gardening. Sweet basil can also be grown in containers, which is a great option for those who have limited space or want to grow herbs indoors. Choose a container that is at least 6 inches deep and wide, and fill it with potting mix. Water the plant regularly and fertilize it every 2 to 3 weeks. Be sure to choose a sunny spot for your container and rotate it every few days to ensure even growth. Companion planting. Sweet basil is a great companion plant for many vegetables and herbs, including tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, and oregano. It can help repel pests and attract beneficial insects like bees and butterflies. Avoid planting sweet basil near other herbs in the mint family, as they can cross-pollinate and affect the flavor of the leaves. Pest control. To prevent pest infestations, keep your sweet basil plants healthy and well watered. If you notice any pests, try using natural remedies like neem oil, insecticidal soap, or diatomaceous earth. Avoid using chemical pesticides, as they can harm beneficial insects and pollinators. Propagation. Sweet basil can be propagated from cuttings or by dividing mature plants. To propagate from cuttings, take a 4 to 6 inch stem cutting and remove the lower leaves. Dip the stem in rooting hormone and plant it in a pot with potting mix. Water the plant regularly and keep it in a warm, humid place until it roots. Harvesting techniques. When harvesting sweet basil, it's important to do it properly to encourage healthy growth and continued production. Use a pair of sharp scissors or pruning shears to cut the stems just above a pair of leaves.
Horseradish tree, also known as Moringa oleifera, is a highly nutritious and beneficial plant that has been used for centuries in various cultures around the world. It is a fast-growing tree that is easy to cultivate and care for, making it an excellent addition to any home garden or farm. To successfully grow horseradish tree, you need to start with the right seeds or seedlings. It is important to purchase high-quality seeds or seedlings from a reputable source. Ideally, the seeds should be fresh and healthy, with no signs of damage or disease. Once you have your seeds or seedlings, it is time to prepare the soil. Horseradish tree prefers well-draining soil that is rich in organic matter. You can improve the soil by adding compost or well-rotted manure before planting. Make sure the soil is loose and friable to allow for good root development. Horseradish tree can be planted either in the ground or in containers. If planting in the ground, make sure to space the seedlings at least 10 feet apart to allow for adequate growth. If planting in containers, choose a container that is at least 18 inches in diameter and 24 inches deep. After planting, it is important to water the seedlings regularly to keep the soil moist. Horseradish tree requires regular watering, especially during hot and dry periods. However, be careful not to overwater as this can lead to root rot. Horseradish tree is a fast-growing tree that requires regular pruning to keep it in check. Prune the tree regularly to promote bushy growth and remove any dead or diseased branches. You can also shape the tree to your desired height and shape. Fertilization is also important for the growth and health of horseradish tree. Apply a balanced fertilizer every 3 months to provide the tree with the necessary nutrients. You can also add a layer of organic mulch around the base of the tree to retain moisture and improve soil quality. In addition to regular care and maintenance, horseradish tree can also benefit from natural pest control methods. Ladybugs, praying mantises, and other beneficial insects can help control pests such as aphids and mites. You can also use natural pest control solutions such as neem oil or insecticidal soap. Harvesting horseradish tree is relatively easy. The leaves and pods can be harvested throughout the growing season, while the seeds and roots are typically harvested in the fall. The leaves and pods can be used fresh or dried for tea or cooking, while the seeds and roots can be used for medicinal purposes. Horseradish tree is known for its high nutritional content, which makes it a valuable addition to any diet. It is rich in vitamins and minerals such as vitamin C, calcium, potassium, and iron. The leaves, pods, and seeds of the tree are all edible and can be used in a variety of dishes. To prepare horseradish tree leaves for consumption, simply wash them thoroughly and remove any tough stems. The leaves can be boiled, sautéed, or used in salads. They have a slightly bitter taste and are often compared to spinach or kale. The pods of the horseradish tree are also edible and can be used in a similar way to green beans or okra. They can be sautéed, roasted, or used in stews and soups. The pods are high in vitamin C and are a good source of fiber. The seeds of the horseradish tree are commonly used in traditional medicine. They are believed to have anti-inflammatory and analgesic properties and are often used to treat joint pain and inflammation. The seeds can be eaten raw or cooked, or they can be roasted and ground into a powder for use in herbal remedies. The roots of the horseradish tree are perhaps the most well-known part of the plant. They have a pungent and spicy flavor and are often used as a condiment or seasoning. Fresh horseradish root can be grated and used in sauces or as a garnish, while dried horseradish root can be ground into a powder and used in spice blends. In addition to its nutritional value, horseradish tree has a number of other benefits. It is known to have antimicrobial and antioxidant properties, which can help to boost the immune system and protect against disease. It has also been shown to have anti-inflammatory effects, making it a potential treatment for conditions such as arthritis and asthma. Horseradish tree is a plant that has been used in traditional medicine for centuries. It is believed to have a number of health benefits, including improving digestion, reducing inflammation, and promoting healthy skin and hair. Horseradish tree leaves are known for their detoxifying properties. They can help to flush toxins from the body and support liver function. They are also a good source of antioxidants, which can help to protect against oxidative stress and cellular damage. Horseradish tree seeds are believed to have a number of medicinal properties as well. They are a natural source of protein and can help to build and repair tissues in the body. They are also rich in fatty acids, which can help to support heart health and reduce inflammation. Horseradish tree root is perhaps the most well-known part of the plant for its medicinal properties. It is a natural antibiotic and can help to fight off bacterial and viral infections. It is also a natural diuretic and can help to reduce water retention and bloating. In addition to its medicinal properties, horseradish tree is also a valuable plant for its environmental benefits. It is a fast-growing tree that can help to prevent soil erosion and improve soil fertility. It is also a natural source of shade and can help to regulate temperatures and reduce energy use in homes and buildings. In many cultures, horseradish tree is also considered a sacred plant. Centella, also known as gotocola, is a perennial herbaceous plant that belongs to the Apiaceae family. It is native to Southeast Asia and has been used for centuries in traditional medicine for its various health benefits. Centella is rich in triterpenoids, which are compounds that have been shown to have anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and neuroprotective properties. In recent years, Centella has gained popularity in the skincare industry for its ability to improve skin health and appearance. Planting Centella. Centella can be grown from seeds or cuttings. If you are growing from seeds, it is best to start indoors about 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost. The seeds should be sown in moist soil and kept at a temperature of around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the seedlings have emerged, they should be kept in a sunny location and watered regularly. If you are planting Centella from cuttings, it is best to do so in the spring or fall. The cuttings should be taken from healthy plants and planted in well-draining soil. The soil should be kept moist but not waterlogged. Centella prefers partial shade, so it is best to plant it in an area that receives partial sunlight. Soil and watering. Centella prefers well-draining soil that is rich in organic matter. The soil pH should be between 6.0 and 7.5. It is important to keep the soil moist but not waterlogged. Overwatering can lead to root rot and other diseases. Watering should be done regularly, especially during hot and dry weather. Fertilization. Centella does not require heavy fertilization. A balanced fertilizer can be applied once every 2 to 3 months during the growing season. It is important not to over-fertilize, as this can lead to excessive foliage growth and reduced medicinal properties. Pests and diseases. Centella is generally not susceptible to many pests or diseases. However, it can be affected by slugs, snails, and spider mites. It is important to monitor the plants regularly and treat any infestations promptly. Fungal diseases can also occur if the soil is too moist, so it is important to avoid overwatering. Harvesting and uses. Centella can be harvested when the leaves are mature and the plant is at least 6 months old. The leaves can be harvested by hand or with a pair of scissors. It is important not to harvest more than 50% of the leaves at one time, as this can weaken the plant and reduce its medicinal properties. Centella can be used in a variety of ways, including as a medicinal herb, in culinary dishes, and in skincare products. It has been shown to have a variety of health benefits, including improving cognitive function, reducing anxiety and depression, and improving skin health and appearance. Centella is also used in traditional medicine to treat a variety of conditions, including wounds, skin disorders, and respiratory ailments. Propagation and pruning. Centella can be propagated through division, which involves dividing the plant into smaller sections and replanting them. This is best done in the spring or fall when the plant is dormant. It is important to ensure that each section has at least one healthy root system and a few leaves. Pruning is also important for Centella, as it helps to promote healthy growth and prevent overcrowding. Dead or damaged leaves should be removed regularly, and the plant can be trimmed back to control its size and shape. Environmental considerations. Centella is a hardy plant that can adapt to a range of growing conditions. However, it is important to consider the environmental impact of its cultivation. In some regions, Centella is grown commercially, which can lead to deforestation and loss of biodiversity. It is important to support sustainable farming practices and purchase Centella products from reputable sources. Culinary uses. Centella is commonly used in Southeast Asian cuisine, where it is known as rau ma or brahmi leaves. The leaves have a mild flavor and can be used in salads, soups, and stir-fries. They are also used to make refreshing drinks and teas. Skincare benefits. Centella has gained popularity in the skincare industry for its ability to improve skin health and appearance. It is rich in antioxidants, which help to protect the skin from free radical damage and reduce the signs of aging. Centella has also been shown to have anti-inflammatory properties, which can help to soothe and calm irritated skin. Centella is often used in skincare products such as serums, moisturizers, and masks. It is especially beneficial for those with sensitive or acne-prone skin, as it can help to reduce inflammation and promote healing. Medicinal benefits. Centella has a long history of use in traditional medicine, where it is known for its various health benefits. It has been shown to have anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and neuroprotective properties, making it beneficial for a range of conditions. Centella is often used to improve cognitive function and reduce anxiety and depression. It has also been shown to have antibacterial and antiviral properties, making it useful for treating infections. In traditional medicine, Centella is used to treat wounds, skin disorders, and respiratory ailments. Research and future potential. Research on Centella has shown promising results for its potential use in treating a range of conditions. Studies have found that Centella may have a protective effect on the brain, reducing the risk of neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It has also been shown to have a protective effect on the liver and may have potential as a treatment for liver disease. In addition, Centella has been found to have potential as a natural sunscreen. Studies have shown that it can protect the skin from UV damage and may be useful in developing natural, plant-based sunscreens. As research continues, it is likely that more potential uses for Centella will be discovered. This versatile plant has a long history of use in traditional medicine, and modern science is beginning to uncover the many health benefits it may offer. Cultural significance. Centella has played an important role in many cultures throughout history.